That was my fault.
Yes.
Yeah, but this time it was my fault.
His fault. That way.
That way. This
Point
fault.
blame
This
that
way.
way.
This
No,
way.
we
Well,
don't do blame game, do we, Mark? Eh?
no, we don't. Unless it's Mark's fault.
We just rant about it until someone accepts the blame. And then see what happens.
Passive aggressive based management.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome everybody. I'm going to change this a bit, Mark. Like, why are we here, Mark? Like,
Why
what
are
is the
we
point
here?
of this? Like, what's going on?
Richard getting very existential on a Friday. Well, we're here to know more about tools, ultimately.
Okay.
That's the goal, but also to get a bit more involved in, the things that we set as well. So it's been, like seeing how others in the community are doing the 30 days of tools challenges. And learning about what's going on in the community as much as about tools. But I should probably take a step back in that we are doing 30 days of tools, 30 challenges across the month of October. We are on day 22.
Yep.
Although if you look on the club, it looks like we've somehow time travelled and accidentally released challenge 23 as well. But since it's
Where
since
is
challenge
Simon?
23,
No, sorry, no blame.
Sorry,
Where's
man.
Simon? Where are you? No.
don't worry, it's my fault. We'll just blame me. But these things happen. But then, to be honest,
Joking aside, though, that is actually, we're not here to talk about management and leadership, but that is the correct behaviour. Everything that goes wrong at MOT is actually always my fault. So it's always
That's
my
refreshing.
fault, no matter what happens.
That is refreshing.
Yeah.
I'll send you an email of things that I
Sure.
need to play for them. But yeah, so day 23 has been released as well as part of... Oh, thank you. I just got delivered lunch.
What?
That's
My
very
lunch
nice.
is in the fridge because yesterday I picked up a sandwich and then as I went round to get something else, which I can't remember what it was, I walked past the hot food counter and was like, ooh, I want that. And then I couldn't be bothered taking the other sandwich back. So I bought both of them. So yeah, today I
For
have a
two
sandwich.
lunches.
Yeah.
Sorry, 2 dinners.
Yeah.
Day 23 has gone live as well. But since it's a Saturday, I think it's perfectly fine for it to come out a little earlier. Because the weekends are always, we're always busy. It's hard to find time sometimes for personal development throughout the weekend. But yeah. So yeah, maybe we'll have a look at number 22, and then I don't know, maybe we could squeak in 23. Might make
maybe.
Monday easier for us.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I think we will do because this one is actually one that technically we should go away and do. And I think that's kind of a mistake by us. I think when we do this, I actually really enjoyed streaming these, but I think I need to look ahead at them a bit more because we could do this now, but this will take at least 30 minutes, an hour to actually both of us do this challenge. So which we're talking about, what it is. So the challenge of day 22 is to compare and contrast two similar tools. Now, I know what I would like to do, which is probably something I've been wanting to do in, for example, Playwright and Cypress, two tools I've never really dived into the world of. There is another category that I would always mention this yesterday, but tinkering with some of these, AI claimed ML tools. So again, something like, top of my head, but Mabel testing, test rigger, one of these tools that's claiming just to be able to, here's a URL, go do some magic. And then finally, the visual testing space, because I've only ever really dealt with API tools, and I know there's more out there now. But I know I'm chatting to someone the other day, and I'm not going to name the company, but we were chatting to, and they were like, "Yeah, we use Percy." I was like, again, never actually even opened the URL. So I think that's where the kind of space I'm at. Because MOT, we have the tools we use, but visual testing is actually something that I need to add into the mix at MOT. So for me, I think I need to go back and pick some of the, especially now I'm boosting my super duper CSS skills. It's going to be a thing of beauty. So I need to get some proper actual, does the website look correct? checks in place, not the current ones we have where is the text somewhere on this page? Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think that's for me. So I'm going to take forward some of the visual testing tools, and off the top of my head, I can only think of Apple Tools and Percy. So I'm gonna
Wraith.
Wraith's dead. Like that died.
Is it? Yeah, that shows the last time I looked at some of the competitors.
There's another one which has a.
There's one for WebDriver IO as well. They have something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it actually has a name itself, or it just sits within the sort of ecosystem of WebDriver IO. But
there's a little fluffy animal slamming this ball at my feet, which I don't know if being.
I mean, I hope it's Ralph.
Oh, yeah, well, but this little dude. Later. Not now. Later.
You can compare different types of balls to chase. That'll be your mission, Ralph.
There you go. It's off you go. Right. So yeah, what are you thinking? What's?
I am thinking. I'm gonna be a bit cheeky, but I think that there's nothing in the challenges that says that we can't do this. I'm gonna try and kill two birds with one stone. So you and I have talked a little bit about goals for Mott, and trying to get better at measuring things. And I've sort of said about putting together some sort of operational dashboards to try and connect things together. So I'm going to look at dashboards, and I'm going to tie this back to testing, because I think that this is important, because it's something else you and I have talked about testing dashboards, about how you could actually collate sources of testing from different places. So I'm going to actually have a look at a few tools that might allow me to create sort of custom dashboards. So, so I know Gecko board.
Just for my context, this is a dashboard in kind of engine that you can plug pretty much anything into.
Yeah,
so you could say
so Gecko board is a good example of that. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
So you basically point it to
on.
different sources and bring it together.
Right. So it could be a DB, it could be an API.
It could be.
You can do all sorts of that. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think like to bring it back to testing, I've been thinking a lot about, and I actually saw a question on Slack today, which was like, I've run a bunch of automated checks. I don't know how how do I report this in a way that makes sense? I don't think there's a lot of discussion. Like I think I might be biased by my own experiences here, but typically testing dashboards tend to be whatever the custom template is. Or like I've sent a bunch of JUnit XML files into another tool and it's just done the work for me. So yeah, I think it's going to sort of help from two different perspectives. It's going to help me sort of think a little bit more about how we could report and present our testing, but also think about ways in which we could have some tooling that will make things better at Mott. Because in the end, it's about revealing information and putting it into a place to react to. So I think that that sort of kind of underpins both of those approaches. So so I know Gecko board. I don't know any others. I literally know Gecko board because sorry mate, I've forgotten your name, but he's written some articles for us who works at Gecko board, and I was sort of interested one day and just started having a look around. So I think
you have a point of contact.
Have a point of contact, yes.
I know what his name is.
Mike. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I was veering between Mike and Matt, and I didn't feel confident to roll the dice. And if it makes any feel better, like I get called Matt all the time as well.
So, in all seriousness, this actually would be really cool because, I've got a new office.
It's come up. It's come up almost as much as my book, hasn't it?
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to catch up. There'd be a nice pool table there, and I've been pondering. I want dashboards, and I've been thinking I didn't know anything about anything like Gecko board. So obviously we've got things like Pro Sales, which come through Stripe, and there's tools like Profitwell, which tell us things like churn and like monthly recurring revenue, and again a lot of things that people probably don't think about with MOT, like we don't consider the actual business running behind it. we've got usage of the website, Google Analytics. There's things like Shopify when people buy our swag and things like that. And obviously there's community health with things like Orbit. So yeah, there's absolutely like lots of stuff that I want around the office so I can quickly look at it. So I think that'll be an exciting project. And what I was trying to get to was it's the same as same as the people doing the testing. That's information that's useful for me in terms of being the CEO of a business. It's useful for you in terms of how well are we currently running. And then obviously if we're in testing, it's like, well, the health of these, automated checks, the monitoring stats, the number of users, errors in production. As it ties nicely into the webinar I did last night with Codecraft in Glasgow. And they were talking a lot there about what does testing in production mean? And enough testers, there's misconception that it's just literally doing your testing in production. But we're also discussing just gathering information from production. Yeah. What features are used? Where are the errors? Where are your users from? What do they look like? All that information can help shape maybe some of your pre-production testing, but also production testing. And it's the same here. The more information me and you have, and the team has, the quicker we can make decisions and get on our way and stuff. So
absolutely, awesome.
So we'd usually go and look at the thread, but the thread is empty. I'm going to show the thread just to, it's empty. And I think I know why. It's one of these, I think, thinking forward, it's one of these challenges where I feel like it needs a date on it. So we've told you what to do now, and you've got a week. You've got a week to reply. Yeah. And then maybe challenge 29 is kind of, answer 22. Yeah. You've had a week. Because I think, like you said, like we mentioned a few times, people are busy with these challenges, and this is a meaty one. This isn't have a break and think of an answer. This is literally go download some stuff. So I think we need to slightly change the way we do.
I think so. Yeah, if something is sort of the setup, and then there's the sort of payoff at the end. Which I think we're going to do with one of the challenges that's coming up later, next week. I think does connect back, but I just think we might have missed it with this one.
But also, insight. I'm not making any promises, but some of the future ways of working we've been discussing, a lot of it might be here's a challenge, and then here's a mini conference. Here's a webinar where you can run through that. So again, just to try and get a bit more ways that people can do these challenges, but then share. You can record it, you could come on live, you could write an article, you could fill in this template, but we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to share whatever it was that we'd set the community to help us with. So there'll be lots of fun stuff around that next year.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Right, do you want to do 23? Shall I find it?
Let's have a little look.
Find 23.
23. Find and follow 5 testing tool developers on social media. I'm going to do this right now because I think if let me. Can I share my screen? Do we still have that old, the one from yesterday set up? Cool. So if I share my screen, I will follow 5 people right now. Because I've been thinking a lot more about when I was all the way back to sort of challenge 1. I was thinking about. There we go. I was thinking a lot about when we talked about Twitter lists and stuff like that, and actually taking the time to sit down and try and organize Twitter a bit more. And one of the things I thought was like you said, you follow a lot of the tool companies on Twitter. So if I find 5 of them and follow them, then I can start putting a list together. But you're not on my screen. You've got your screen.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
On the twits.
I'm just on the. There we go.
Nice.
It didn't remember it, so I had to fix
it.
Okay,
I'm going to create a new list. I'm going to call it Testing Tool Vendors. Awesome shiz. Awesome creators. Okay. So I'm going to go for ones that sort of just are popping up in my head at the moment. X-Ray app. There we go. Who I spoke to yesterday on Racket. It was pretty cool. We talked about TestRail a bit as well. So I'm going to add TestRail. I know there's the folks at Selenium have just announced version 4 has come out, so I'm going to pop them on there as well. Just because you love them so much. I'm going to put Child's Proxy, and then I'm going to put Postman. Do Postman as well. Cool. So that's who I've added so far.
Nice.
And I will continue to add some more, and if anyone has any recommendations of people I should add to this list, here's a mad idea. Can you import lists? Like, can you do something where you're like, oh right, no, you can't. I wondered if you could do something like with our tool directory, whether or not we could do something where you literally could import that as a list into Twitter.
Yeah, not sure you can. I think we'd have to maintain it ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well done, Mark.
Easy as that.
So Mickey's gone ahead and done this one. He's gone with Sanjay Kumar. So if you're not sure who Sanjay is, he created Selector Hub and Test Case Studio, and we have a couple of courses from him actually that went live a couple of weeks ago, which are completely free, about how to use his tools. Joanne Halby, the creator of Rest Assured. That's an interesting one to follow there.
Nice.
Simon Stewart, main Selenium lead, which most people I'm sure are aware of Simon. Larry Goddard, he's a great guy. I had a chat with him not too long ago actually. He's built a nice JavaScript automation framework called Classy, which he's using at his company, and he's trying to get sharing more about. And Abhinav Asfana, who is the founder of Postman. So
yes, yeah.
A few people there.
nice chap.
And I think, like I said, the thing that if I was going to do this now, I'd probably need a bit longer, but I would go and find, as I said, like these latest tools that you keep hearing have just got loads of money. I want to follow them and see what they're up to, because I do think there's going to be some really fascinating stuff coming out of these companies. So while they might not have the best of marketing and the things that they're trying to, or their missions, but like I think they'll still create things of interest that are worthwhile following.
Well, I think that example that we had from yesterday with the macros thing was quite a surprise to me. So yeah, trying to be more aware of those sort of things is useful. Just to know what's out there, what to have a play with.
Absolutely.
Wow. So we have gone from Tuesday morning, 4 challenges behind, to Friday, 1 challenge ahead. Get in.
In the future.
Although I think next week's going to be interesting, given that we have Test.bash coming on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday will be tricky.
I think we'll probably have to give Thursday's stream a miss, as I imagine you will probably...
If we were smart, Mark, we would have put it into the schedule. Like along with something else.
That's a really clever idea. Why don't we add it into the schedule? I think we've got some time. We can do it on the break, I suppose.
Yeah, let's have a look. Let's see if we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Right.
Excellent.
There we go. We hope you all have a good day. If you're not, one thing we keep forgetting to say is that you don't have to keep up with the challenges. So if you want to just find an hour one day and like binge them all, that's even equally awesome. So yeah, if you've got a chance, do the challenges. Otherwise, we'll be back on Monday. Are you around this Monday?
I am.
Monday?
Yep.
Oh yes.
On Monday.
All right. We'll see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
See you on Monday.